in a sense, I do appreciate for all of the speakers that tonight we will discuss about the impact of esports to to be my to be my illness when I know that my siblings just when uh, there is no duty. Of course, they don't study anymore. So it's it disturbs my brain because we realize that in this case, when we join online group or we just play phone, don't do anything. I mean, we don't use our phone or we don't use our social media. We can utilize our social media. Of course, we will be left behind. So uh, I discussed with Mr. Sunshine to deliver my topic about the impact of esports towards youngster learning motivation in midst of pandemic. Yeah, this is what my result. Yeah, the first word is esports. Wants to give its opinion about what is esports. Anyone wants to give opinion about what is esports? Yeah, before esports is the electronic sports, so we can utilize uh, the online media or the social media to to be useful content. Even we do sports is like we are gamers or we like playing games. There is industry of games, so it's like the government give chance to the young generation to uh, upgrade their skill by playing game by doing esports. It's like Mobile Legends, PUBG. They give the room to upgrade their skill, to upgrade their uh, knowledge. It's like they have to play with the tactic, they have to play with the strategy. Of course, they not only play, but also they have to think that we not only play, but we have to play by the strategic or tactic. Yeah, this is uh, what esports for me. Anyone wants to give opinion about what is esports?
Okay, first thing first, probably me, Mr. Her. Okay, since becoming the host, I couldn't I couldn't raise my hand.
Okay, Mr. Sunshine,
Okay,
you want to give your opinion about esports?
yes. So guys, basically, sport is addictive. It's like smoking, probably for some of you, or some like watching some Korean dramas, or probably it's like having facial for females. So basically, it started about um, 3 years ago. Almost like full 3 years. I played a variety of sport, and basically, it is called sport. It is not sport that requires to have a physical exercises, but because it considered a sport because it is competed as the Asian Games. Okay, so the very first time it is seen as the game, but right now it considered as sport because, like an athlete, uh, when you when you need to play some sport, you need to train yourself so much, rather than only relying on physical things. But you also need to have your strategy, your critical thinking, your analytical thinking. So that's why sport is something considered as a new term in this 20th. So I guess like like Clash of Clans, Clash COC, or PUBG, or Mobile Legends, something similar to that, or something like eating something. I don't know, it's the name, or something like Imposter around me. Or I don't know the name. I guess that is can be considered as esports, since basically it is using internet as the a network or the medium to connect one people to others who live in different spaces. I think that's for me, Mr.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Sunshine. Others who wants to give opinion? Okay, Mr. Indri, time is yours.
Yeah, based on my assumptions, is sport is like the sport coming from the electronics things that make the people can use their brain, and sometimes also they can use that energy. And based on my research, esport is founded in 1972, but it's not the massive as right now that the people know about esport in Asian Games, in Asian Para Games, and also probably it will be conducted also in Olympiad. So this is the reasons that esport since 2018 became famous. It because was put in the several Olympiad and competitions in many places.
Okay, I agree with Mr. Indraman of opinions because now we are not only playing game, but we can be athlete by doing sport, by using esports. Okay, others, Mr. Eka, Mr. Ananda Raffi, Mr. Andre, Mr. Angga, Mr. Cekenang Ilir, Miss Kemala, Mr. Muhammad Hasan, Mencari Ilmu, Miss Siti, Miss Ima, Miss Sunny, want to give opinion about what is esport?
Can I, sir?
Okay, Mr. Angga, right?
Yes, yes. Okay, thank you
Okay,
for the opportunity. So yeah, to be honest, I don't. I've never played esports at all. To be honest with all of you, but based on my research from Paris data, as I see it, that esport has several advantages, right? Like just other sports, esports also give you a lot of friends, right? Because when you want to play this game, you need to have a plethora of friends. That's why you need to communicate with them, and you need to connect with them, and so on and so forth. And in addition, it can also enhance your language skills, right? Because mostly they are using English languages or other languages. So you need to be able to comprehend the language used by these esports. Moreover, if you have some friends from other countries, let's say they are from Germany or from Russia, if you want to communicate with them well, of course, they are triggered. They are triggering you to learn their own languages, right? In order to be able to communicate easily with other peoples. However, as far as I'm concerned, there are several disadvantages as well. It's like it can give addictions for everyone to not to do anything beside sport itself. So when you actually can do the real sport in the real life, because you have your own activities, so you are reluctant to conduct other activities beside the sport itself. Well, so because it can also reduce your health, because you are stuck with your own places. So it's I think bad for your daily life. That's why, to be honest, I've never played esport at all because I always make myself busy, um, do other activities. That's why from my point of view, I am reluctant to try to use this because I think it can give me more disadvantages than advantages itself. Because in my viewpoint, there are a lot of other beneficial activities that I can do instead of playing esports. Yeah, that's my honest opinion. Thank you, Mr.
Okay, right. Thank you very much, Mr. Angga. Yeah, it depends on someone who like playing game or who doesn't like playing game. It will be useful when we like playing game that we can utilize to be useful or to get the salary. But we if we just play game and we just spend and we just waste the data for playing game, of course it will waste our time to grow up better than doing others, which is useful for us. Okay, others who wants to give opinion? No one? Okay, next, Mr. Sani. Yeah, sport is a form of sports where the primary aspects of the sports are facilitated by electronic systems, the input of players and teams, as well as the output of the esports are mediated by human-computer interfaces. Okay, next, Mr. Sani. What age or characteristic of one called youngster? Anyone wants to give opinion about this? Yeah, what age or characteristic of one called youngster? Yeah, basically when someone who is interested in playing game, of course, when they are teenager or under the 30 years old, I mean, we can. It is called the youngster, but we don't know. It depends on someone. If they are gamers, of course, they will use or they will utilize the games or the esports to uh, to obtain uh, the income or to obtain the knowledge in order to get the more skill, the more knowledge from the esport. Yeah, what it's around 20 years old till 30, as far as I know. But I don't know for your incredible opinion about this. Anyone wants to give opinion? What age or characteristic of one called youngster?
Can I ask?
Yes,
Yeah,
Mr. Angga.
it's related to the question given here, sir. Um, Probably someone can answer my questions related to the youngster because,
Yes.
as far as I know, there are several organizations like they still use the what so-called youngster here, but most of their members are not young anymore. Like there are several members who are 40 and 50 or even 60. So what does it mean? Probably everyone can answer, but they
Okay.
still call themselves as youngster. Why is that? I'm just wondering. Thank you, sir.
Okay, all right. Who has the answer from the Mr. Angga questions? What about someone who has age more than 40? Is it called youngster? I can't answer. Mr. Sunny, maybe?
Okay, yeah, I'm about to raise my hand like this. Okay, but before that, but before me, maybe Rafi first. Okay, give your comment, give out your comment, Rafi.
Okay, thank you for the opportunity. On my perspective about uh, age, uh, yeah, let's say in one organization or club, esports club, uh, there are several parts like management or players and official. I mean, yeah, there is a difference age, for the players. Mostly, they tend to um, recruit the players with age requirement around 17 until 25, at least um, 25 for the oldest player. But mostly esports, Indonesian esports club recruit the players uh, above 17. Oh, uh, one of the most one of the youngest player in Indonesia. There's one player that the age of this player is 16, but mostly they recruit the players for joining the club around 17 until 25. And for the member or official of the esport, like the like Mr. Angga said, uh, the member that age around 50 or 60, probably it tend to become the official or manager of the esport club itself. That's my opinion. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Rafi, for your nice opinion. Mr. Sunny, do you want to give your opinion about what age or characteristic of one called youngster or
As long
answering
as long as
Mr. Angga?
someone is not called adult, I believe that they can be considered as teenagers. And mostly teenagers can be called a youngster, young people, young generation, or in terms of physical characteristic, probably they don't have any lines in their forehead yet, or they do not have to think about the futures too much. They still didn't have any work on any like established work, or they still need
Nah,
some funds from their parents to live their
nah,
life.
yeah.
Can be considered as youngster, I believe. Okay, I think that's for me.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for helping me for answering Mr. Angga's question. So next, Mr. Sunny.
Seems like Mr. Eka raises his hand.
Okay, yeah, Mr. Eka, the time belongs to you,
Okay, thank
Mr.
you.
Eka.
I don't know esport how esport call their athlete or players because I'm like Angga also never play esport or never play video games, computer games, something like that. But if I want to relate it with football, youngsters sometimes, yeah, we call youngsters when the player is gain attention because they are very talented, or they break some records, or they play in very young age in the major club, something like that. So I think the characteristic for the youngster is when they are very talented and then they can compete with the older one or their senior player or the senior athlete in esport or other sports in situation. Thank you.
Right. Thank you, Mr. Eka, for your nice opinion. Others who wants to give opinion about what age or characteristic of one called Youngster.
I
Okay, Mr. Angga.
Okay, I just want to continue my question earlier. So it's not merely about age, right? If we only consider the youngster approximately 17 to 30, it's not enough, right? But it's mainly about the characteristics, right? So as far as I'm concerned, the youngster must have a fighting spirit, like they have a good idealistic, more innovative, progressive, and dynamic than older people. So it's mainly about the characteristic. I mean, even though you are still you've been like let's say 40 or even 50, but you still have um, youngster characteristics inside you. It means that you can be considered as youngster, right? So don't forget, if you don't want to be if you don't want to be old, you need to have youngster characteristic, like as I said before. In short, I just wanna say the good quote from um, Camila Vallejo, yeah, the revolutionary from Chile. If you are if you are young but you are not progressive, it means that you are flawed. Kaum muda kalau tidak progresif berarti cacat. That's a good quote, I think. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, that's a nice opinion from Mr. Angga. Yeah, it means when even when we are young, but we don't want to grow up, it means we will live behind. This is a quote
Yes.
from I don't know others who wants to give opinion. Okay, Mr. Cekonang, time
Okay.
is yours.
Yeah. So the question is related about the export games. Uh,
Yes.
the youngster. Yeah. But in my point of view, the term of innovative and progressive is not coming from the youngster generation because in adults, we can call it by mature or dewasa. So the innovative and progressive can be really on they rely on them because when we talk about the adult and the young generation, so we need both of them because like Sukarno quote that give me 10 the young people so I can change the world and give me what's that 100 adults or major people so I can crack Sumeru from its roots. So we need the combination from the side of the youngster and adult because it's like the good thing that we can build our country. But if it's related about the esport, yeah, I agree because there is several members that yeah we can call it like they have two children or three children and they play a game. Uh, yeah, but because I think esports is totally different with physical sport that you need strength, you need stamina, like playing a football. Esport you only need your finger to step one, like go to left, go to right, get in front of and go behind. So the thing that you should concern at the sport here, how you can build a macro and micro in games, and also was that how when we guide someone or when we utilize skills, all of the generation, I think it could be good at the sector. But it seems like the entertainment that the most people that playing a game as the esport is from young generation. So it seems like the entertainment will attract the young generation to play this and play that. So the athletes is kind of was that rarely from the youngster, but also from the adults too. So it seems like the skill. If you had a skill or you are top local or top global at that sports or esports, so you can be hired by the management of a sport team. It is for me.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Cekonang. Others? Yeah, Mr. or Miss Nurain. Okay, time is yours.
Hi Kak, I'm Miss Nurayan, not Mr.
Okay, yeah, Miss
I'm Miss
Nurain.
Nurayan.
Yeah, Miss Nurain.
Is my name like a man?
I don't
Okay,
know.
let me. Okay, let me introduce myself. My name is Nurayan, and I'm a woman. And I'm a youngster. I think for a youngster, it started from age 16 to 25, and for the characteristic of the youngster the youngster must have a spirit to change their life to be the better life, and like to reach their dreams, and the youngster must have like the youngster must have uh, the power how to change the world, like to be a better, for example, uh, have to focus on how to reach their dreams, and have to be creative, and to make their life to get a better life. And yeah, youngster have to be more innovative and to be creative. That is for the characteristics, because the future of life in the country is depends on the youngster. So I think that is for the characteristics of the youngsters. That's all. Thank you.
Okay, no worries, Miss Nurain, for your awesome opinion. Mr. Eka wants to give opinion. Mr. Eka, because you still raise your hand. Do you want to give opinion anymore?
I forget to lower my hand. Sorry.
Okay. Okay, Mr. Indre wants to give your opinion.
Yeah, based on my assumptions, youngster is like the situations when the people still trying to find what is their patience, which one the proper ways that lead them to be the success people. And related with our discussions today that's talking about esport, especially for the age 17 until 22, many of them is interested with the esport, but especially for the people that has been bigger than that, they never, or is only the minority of them that put the dreams to become the esport. Maybe they prefer to become billiard athletes, they prefer to become a football athlete if they still have energy to do that. So this is my assumptions about the youngsters, and related with my comment before, and also it's related with Mr. Chikoning earlier that conveyed youth in Indonesia is like a brilliant, is like a diamond, is not proper or fit with what happened in the implementations there. We can see on how many people, how many youth can be trusted by this country to handle the big uh, task to develop these countries. One of them, and also from the ministries, also we cannot feel brave to put the several youth in our countries. One of them is like what happened in Malaysia. They put the youth as the ministers. But in Indonesia, I suppose that it will be difficult to see one of the ministers still lack of than 23. I suppose that Nadim is one of the youngest ministers in this cabinet. It cannot be called as the youth because Nadim has been more than 32, I guess. So this is the reasons that it's not easy as the youth get a trust, especially in our countries. They think that we are as the people doesn't have the experiences, we are not able to do a kind of the burdens, we don't have experiences and others, but they forget if we are as the youth, we will how to say that. I forget in bahasa. Yeah, we promise the features for our countries. We promise giving a kind of the changing for our countries with a kind of the what with a kind of the old thought, kind of the old strategy how to make these countries better. So this is the reasons that I want to say, government, please give a trust to the youth. It's like us to manage our regions, to manage our cities, to manage our countries. That's all for me.
Okay, I do agree with Mr. Indravenov uh, opinion. Essentially, when they think about the youth, they just said that the youth doesn't have many experiences. It's like Mr. Indravenov said previously about the youth. It depends on the youth if they want to grow up, if they want to change, to be revolutionaries like Mr. Eka is a revolutionary, of course. When we are responsible for handling the event, is like handling the organizations, like the small organization, or we get responsibility to handle small thing to be the big thing. Of course, we can do it uh, by the responsibility. Others who hasn't spoken up, Mr. Andre Alfian, are you there? Just try to give your opinion. We don't blame each other. We study each other. It's okay. Mr. Andre Alfian, are you there? Okay. No one. Mr. P. Mr. P? Don't be afraid.
What is P?
I come late
I
here,
don't know.
so I'm sorry. I don't know whatever's beginning in this meeting. I come late. I'm sorry.
Okay, just give opinion about what age we discuss about the esport. What age are characteristic of one called youngster?
I didn't know what. I'm not so speaking English because uh, what I study not long time in English.
It doesn't matter. You may try it in this group because we study each other. Enough?
Maybe for the first time this I want to hear and study listening with all our friends in this meeting room.
Okay. Okay. You may unmute your voice. Thank you very much, Mister. What's your name?
My name is Sheikh Marzawi.
Because your name is P. So I call you Mr. or Miss
Of
P.
course. Just now, Mr. My friend sent me this Zoom this link, and I invite. I have I haven't. What does mean edit my name in this Zoom because of that appear P in this meeting.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mister.
Okay, I'm the new student in Pare. I have been here for 2 weeks. Because of that, I'm not
Wow.
so weaver in English speaking.
Yeah, of course you may join the weekly discussion to improve your English because we study each other. We
All
support
right.
to be better.
You are
Okay, yeah.
welcome.
Okay, Mr. Pencari Ilmu or Miss Pencari Ilmu, are you there to give your opinion, to represent your opinion? Miss Siti, Hardianti, are you there? Miss Siti, okay, no one. Mr. Sony Alfriansa. Okay, next, Mr. Sunny. I think no. Yeah, most of the e-sport professional players, approximately the globe, are the early 20 years, and it isn't uncommon for players who retire around 25 or 26. However, as the sport matures, some players extend their careers. With two-thirds of us at the eSport website Ketulage Van on the wrong side of 30. The topic of age in eSport is pretty close to our hearts, so we catch up with another expert on being older than your average gamer. Image controls Christopher's Apocalypse allows to get this through on the matter. Okay, next, Mr. Sunny. How do you think esports bring impact to the world? How do you think esports bring impact to the world? Anyone wants to give opinion about esports bring impact to the world? Okay, Mr. Indre.
Yeah, based on my assumptions, esport brings the big impact, especially to the globalists or the rich people, of course, because the several game has been made um, by the big companies, yeah, such as PlayStations. I forgot where's the company Sony, yeah, as the companies. Maybe Google, maybe yeah, many of things that related with the globalists, especially, and this situation also trying to give impact. Oh, what is the problem with their voice? Until sorry.
Okay, your voice is audible, sir.
Okay. Yeah, so this is the reasons that many impacts that affect rural with manufacturers, especially in economics, especially in uh, the habit of the human, and yeah, in sociology, in psychology, and others. And kind of the things that I want to convey this for the youth or for the children. If you play kind of the games that are related with esport, sometimes we have to limit, or sometimes we have to uh what how to say that, it's not much to play, because sometimes it'll trying to make you will not focus on your purpose, but it's extremely different when esport as your focus, maybe if you want to become the athlete of esport and others. Yeah, because many of my friends also get rich because of they play esport. Yeah, one of them is like Mobile Legend and others. So this is the reason that I cannot forbid the people to play a game, to play kind of the things that related with esport, but sometimes yeah we have to limit also if this is not your on purpose, because it'll trying to influence your psychologies, it'll trying to make the people addicted. When you are addicted, it'll be difficult for you to out from this habit. So it's not in the big scale for the world. Sometimes for the people is like me, I was addicted the several years ago when I was in junior high school, when I play one of the well-known games that called by Point Blank. Yeah. So all of my families, they don't wear the glasses because but me as the persons that totally addicted long time ago with the game that called by Point Blank, it makes me have to wear my glasses because I play that all the time, that make that become the bad impact for me. So yeah, this is my statement before. Thank you.
All right, brilliant statement from Mr. Indri. And others, how do you think sport bring impact to the world? Miss, Miss Nurain. Okay, the time belongs to you.
Okay, Ka, I want to share my opinion about how do you think esport bring impact to the world. I think it has good impact to the world if some people can use esport for good things or for beneficial things. Uh, Nowadays, in this era, there are so many esport that spread on the world, and even there are so many youngsters that have very good have very good quality and have very good skill to do esport, and even youngster can take beneficial things from esport. For example, they can earn money from esport, and then they can have many friends from esport, and they can make relation with people around the world through esport. And I think it depends on the youngsters itself if they can use their time, or if they can manage their time to do esport and other activities. I think it will be good for them, and it will give good impact for them. So it depends on the youngsters, or it depends on the people itself. Thank you.
All right, Miss Nurain, for your incredible opinion about sport and the impact of sport. Others wants to give opinion about impact of sport.
Can I, Mr.
Okay, Mr. Sunshine.
So I believe that sport doesn't bring impact to the world of adult. Okay, I'm an adult here, all people. So basically, they have nothing to do with esport. Probably they're getting busier to warn their children not to play so many times and forget the time, forget the lessons. So I believe that the sport for them is just annoying stuff because uh, it distract greatly the concentrations of their children. And probably for typical adults who make a business, seeing sport might be a quite promising thing because they can develop similar games that can copy or that have the same pattern as the most famous games to be played by so many youngster in one nation or even international. So I guess esport impact greatly on the segmented people. I mean, not everyone are impacted or influenced by this great effect of esport. And not to mention, we need to also consider that sport impact the world in how some universities, especially worldwide university that became so famous with its computational uh, facilities, they provide some faculties or some majors that are actually teaching this kind of sport on how to play games, on how to create games, on how to add some visual graphics, effects, something related to the games, and how to finally learn the behavior of the gamers, sociology of games, educations of games, everything related to games is learned, and then probably they have dreams to make the more efficient game that can be more eco-friendly or can be used for learning something rather than exploiting the times of the youngster that becomes so vital for them to be used in their young era, young pace of their life. uh, this kinds of academic that focusing themselves on games would like to change the perspective, change the paradigms that we put that games is only annoying things, exploiting time, and didn't give tremendous effect toward the children. I think that's for me.
Okay, it's Mr. Chikoneng here. Time is yours.
Okay, so how do you think if e-sport bring impact to the world? Yeah, first of all, I would like e-sport is it seems like the alternative for gaming, especially for smartphone. For example, at the previous time when we talk about millennials, so the millennial suffer how PlayStation is the addicted game. On the other hand, like maybe like Mr. Indrawana said before, and RF and others, so it is the addictive game. And we are in the era that every single children or young people have a smartphone in their hand. So the esport is like the alternative that because when we play like PlayStation or how to say warnet internet mar internet what's that internet boarding or internet market, so we should pay every single hours like we rent it, but by using we buy a data paycheck and we can fly how many times that we want to be. Yeah, it seems like the alternative in the second term how sport can bring the perspective of the children or the young generation like I don't like science, I don't like listen, I like games. So without science I can create money. This is like the perspective and little bit wrong, but there is a not little bit like 70% or 80% is wrong, but there is 30% is true that they how the athlete from the esport can create money for from streaming. They give the tips and tricks to the young generation, so they are addicted. Oh, it could be or apply for this hero like this and others. So it seems like the children or the young generation that hate listen, so they will find the alternative how they give the evidence for their parents. Oh, I also can create money, I want to be the athlete from this esport. So it can impact the world that the what's that? The capitalism of gaming conduct the competition every single years, and they create the new athlete, and the what's that the institutional bring again, and it happened to ASEAN games and also a national game, international games too. Yeah, it seems like I um I will not say it is the all of this benefit from the esport, but it can bring impact to the world. But I would like to say to government, when the government know how attractive the young generation, especially for the young people in Indonesia about this game, how the government doesn't make a new games that is built or created by the Indonesia government. For example, if what's that? Tencent have PUBG, so Indonesia have what that Pejuang Merdeka or whatever is it, or in the other hand, Nasya have Mobile Legends, so Indonesia have Website Nusantara, so there is Gatot Kaca, perhaps Nyoro Kidul, and Anoman, and other heroes. So it will be interesting for Indonesia, and they can supply it to the other country, because you can imagine how TikTok can influence Indonesia. Uh, First of all, TikTok is created by China, and the government forced the society to play only with TikTok, not the Instagram. But they are what's that? Successful from that thing and bring the impact to the other country. So this is the thing that Indonesia should concern how Indonesia can make a games. Um, yeah, there is the achievement also. We cannot deny that Nusa and Rara, this is the enemy from Indonesia that can give for the other countries. So I would like to, I don't know, it is suggestion or not, but in the term, in my point of view, Indonesia should create a new game similar with the other country that give to Indonesia people. So Indonesia will be proud. They can create money for that and get it from taxes and can give for the society for enrich or school the human resources. So it will be better than we only rely on the digital marketing for other countries. Thank you. This for me. Can you hear me, guys?
Okay, all right, Mr. Second Angler. Thank you for your credible opinion. Okay, next, Mr. Eka. Time is yours.
Okay, first of all, I agree with Indre. What esport bring impact to the world? I think mostly it's all about money, and from the big corporation, and in this case, it's gaming industry for sure, because when they finally invented games like Dota, like Mobile Legend, or etc., and then they try to make the new kind of how people to communication, or how people do their lifestyle in daily life. For example, now in Indonesia, when we go to hang out, we will never hang out anymore, because hangout now we we buy the drink and then we play the game, we play the esport game, something like that. I think they finally success to form the new kind of communication in our society. That's first, because like Indra said, when we buy the game, or we install the game, and then they gain the profit, and then we have to buy the internet quota, or we have to buy the computer, or we have to buy the CPU, the new CPU that can support our games, something. That also means that the money is just around the industry, the computer, the technology, the gaming industry, something. And second, but I think esport is also a good how to say it, like a good a good way to learn about critical thinking, or how to have a good how to say, working together as a player in the esport game. Because when you are not in the club, esport club, you're not know each other, right, in the internet, and you kind like you can have a working together with them and then win the game or something. I think it's a good tools to us to learn about critical thinking, how to win the game, and then how to prevent something and something. Because when you play like Call of Duty or you play FIFA, something like that, then you have a good analysis, like you yeah like you want to trade in stock market. Because people who love play games esport, actually they do analysis better than people do trade in the stock market, something like that. We were something like very how to say it, like very interest in esports. And then the third one, esport also for my for myself, like before you said that esport player is just like 18 until 25, and then it's just like a short period for player. How about when they're not uh, achieve the highest career in the highest career, what happened next when they already out of the age for them, something like that. I think it's also have they have to think about it. And the fourth one is also open a lot of, how to say it, lapangan pekerjaan. Because like I see in the YouTube or some media social account from artists or football player, they create a club for esport, and then they send the club to the competition tournament. So it means we create a new environment for the competition. So they're just not playing for fun, they also gain gain money or earns money from the game, something like that. I think mostly the impact is also about economy. That's it. Thank you.
Okay, it's awesome opinion from Mr. Eka. Okay, next. Okay, Mr. Angga, the time belongs to you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. I agree with Mr. Eka and Mr. Kibo in the capitalism era, which we are living right now. Um, Most of the developments like technologies, especially e-sport, has commonly benefited the capitalist or ruling class, right? That's why they advertise this continuously to the people, so they are triggered to play this again and again, and it will benefit them. Yeah, it's exactly what's happening right now. So in order to tackle the situation, of course, we need to socialize the technologies um, to the for the sakes of the majority of people, which are workers. I think it is a kind of structural perspective to accomplish it. Well, I think it can be discussed later. But here, I wanna convey other issues regarding this question. Of course, esport as other sports. Oh, first of all, it can color the sports, like in my viewpoint. It can, make the variations of the sports that we did previously in the past, like regular sports such as volleyball, football, and what else? Tennis table, and so on and so forth. So, as other sports that I've mentioned, they can give us benefits. Like if you are an expert, of course, you can achieve a lot of friends. You can earn a lot of monies. You can, um, you know, make communications with other people from various nations. And of course, personally, you can get a lot of benefits, like it can enhance your agilities, your passions, like other sports, and it indeed gives a plethora of benefits to people. However, in my viewpoint, it is different from regular sports like football, let's say, because the more we play football, the more we become healthy, right? Healthier. On the other hand, the more we play esports, in my viewpoint, the more we get a sickness, mostly, but not all people, but mostly. Like you are easily getting addicted, right? And you are less sleep, of course, and you get more laziness, and of course, it can give bad impacts towards your body because it's different. If regular sports, you play the games with all of your physical activities. However, esports is different in my opinion. Yeah, it's my subjective assumptions regarding esports. In addition, personally, I think we need to, you know, select every development that we have so far. We don't need to follow all of the developments that we have so far. Like when you wanna play each sport, yeah, it's okay as long as it can give you benefits, impact, like it can reduce your stress. But again, don't play this game a lot because it can give bad impacts like you're healthy. Otherwise, if you wanna be esport player, of course you need to be consistent in doing this. Yeah, my point is you need to be careful and be productive and also be um, wise. Yeah, thoughtful. Thank you, sir.
Okay, in it's an estimable opinion from Seranga. And the next, Mr. Kyle. Mr. Kyle. Okay, time is yours, Mr. Kyle.
Hey everybody, are you guys listening?
Hi. Yes, it's audible your voice.
Um, Thank you for time. Um, so based on my point of view, um, I guess that sport has been a hot topic, right? Perhaps it's even become like buzzword in recent year, couple years. And it's no surprise. Like every year, more global brands come into the industry, and making for exciting headlines and attracting more investor looking. So I guess from my point of view from the industry, the esport industry surpassed about, as I know that from the threshold of $1 billion in total revenue. So it's a really a promising a place to invest as an industry. It's also increased focus on competitive yet collaborative gameplay. As we know, that esports still occupies interesting space in the gaming world, like simultaneously exhibiting and irradiating both collaborative and competitive gameplay and behavior. Um, Playing games also, I think, can increase the cognitive ability of kids, like including spatial navigation, like perception, such as also memory, even a critical thinking. What's very interesting, shooting games which have been regarded as a full of violence can also give a positive effect, which is increasing the spatial cognition, such as what I say, perception, memory, and others. This is important in a children education and career development because we know that researchers show the bad things alongside with the good things. But the researchers show that spatial skill possessed by a person will be impacting their achievement in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. But we also know that bad impacts. You know, Gamers who play heavily have a lower and real world social support with other people, and a community, and higher rates of depression, stress, and anxiety. As we know that also sport carry risk for the body and possibly the developing brain. Like almost 12 hours people like playing a games, and also many top esport player and professional. The trend per day has led to an increase in computer related to the like such as injuries or you know what, tunnel syndrome something, or repetitive strain, or what else. But it depends on the people also. What I think, it seems like thing you think that how YouTuber give impact for the world, and how watching YouTube it's a very good for people. So I guess I think it depends on the person yet, but also they could maintain about how the bad impact and good impact from that. So that's my point of view. Thank you.
Okay, it's excellent opinion from Mr. Kine. Okay, others who hasn't spoken up, I please you to give opinion about what is. How do you think esports bring impact to the world? You just pick up, it's okay. Mr. Sony Afriansyah, Mr. Sony, are you there? Mr. Sony? Nothing. Miss City, are you there? Do you want to give your opinion? How do you think sport bring impact to the world? Okay, I think enough for this question, Mr. Sunshine. Next. Yeah, sport can be linked not only to the competitive game play, but also the strategy game, because sport could foster the importance of competitive computer games as a tool which can improve the process of strategic decision making. Sport interprets as playing competitive games according to the generally accepted rules of the league with leagues and tournaments on the internet. As today's strategies used by social media companies often look more like tactics, while tactics look like strategy. Okay, next, Mr. Sunshine. Yeah, is sport that big advantages for youngsters? How? Maybe one of the speakers has answered these questions, but I don't know others who has another opinion about this question. Is sport that promising or advantageous for youngsters? If I'm not mistaken, last time Mr. Angga has answered, but I don't know. Maybe other speakers have another opinion or another perspective about this question. Anyone wants to give opinion about this question? Okay. Well, no one wants to give opinion. Okay, next, Mr. Sunny.
Can I?
Okay, Mr. Sikoneng, I give the
Ah,
time for you.
but before that, can you hear my previous statement before?
Yeah, it's audible.
Yeah. Okay. From promising the advantages for youngsters. Yeah, I think esports will be the alternative for student or youngster that hate to listen. Like they tend to play games and they are addicted with the games. So it is will be a dream for them because um yeah, esport will be one of job that they will gain it and they will play it, and also they will collect money for that. Like it's because I think there is the what's that the prominent quote that work what you love. So this quote is coming from a notorious quote that work what you love. So the people who love playing a game, so they can work from that sector and they will get the advantage, like they will improve their skill and also they get the advantage to that go overseas, like playing in an international competition. And other, in order to, they can what's that, make their parents proud of that because their achievement. But can I give the disadvantage or is this only the advantages? Terhudori.
It's okay. Yeah, it's okay if you want to give this disadvantages for the youngster.
Yeah. Yeah, but the advantages for this is for like several speakers said before, like the addictive. So it will be unhealthy if you are addicted with that because you should train your skill for more than 20 hours per day. So it will be awful. But the advantages for the young sister that they tend to be take it easy every single reason because they get the inspirative for the simple things and they tend to ignore the what actually the world needs. For example, like today the young generation tend to be the athlete, but they don't wanna be like the creator of that games. I don't know, it's because the government does have a place to increase or encourage their skill to create their own mobile games like the esport games, or it's coming from they don't have the education for that. But yeah, they tend to be the artist but not create a game. So if the government will can create like the own esport, not coming from Tencent, it's coming from the Indonesia, like what's that Indonesia platform from Gojek. Yeah, Indonesia can create their own mobile game or esport games. Like for example, Mobile Legend. There are a lot of hero right at that games. So we can create our games like we can put the our culture hero like Nyoro Kidul, Kuntilanak, Pocong, and other. And we put the skill for them like Anoman, what's that? Gatot Kaca. Although the Gatot Kaca that is in Mobile Legend, yeah, it will be great because Indonesia have approach. Oh, I play my own esports country, and I play what my imagination before. Like what is that? Oh yeah, Sangkuriang and also yang dikutuk jadi batu maling kundang. Yeah, and they will have a skill for that, like the ultimate for maling kundang, there is his mother came out from the graveyard, so it will be great. I think then we always play from the other country, and when we talk about PUBG, so the skill is not what's that the strip 1 strip 2 and what's that legend, or we can change like the rates, I mean the level, like uh, the highest is, for example, like Kopassus. And after that, Denjaka. So it will be great, I think. And all of stuff like the weapon is coming from the Indonesia weapon. So it will better that when we create our what's that our games and we imitate for the other games. And the perhaps the youngster will get the inspirational from who create that game then tend to be athlete. Hello.
Okay, is it enough? Okay,
Yeah, is it enough?
thank you, Mr. Tukanang. Yeah, thank you very much. Next, Mr. Kyle. Time is yours. Mr. Kyle.
Oh yeah, thank you anyway. Yep. Thank you everyone. So I could say that you don't need to be a professional gamer to land a job within a sport. But the question is actually what other option are available? That's what the question, right? Because everyone looking for a job in this life, right? So esport is a growing area that offers several viable career options to people. But there's also still a misconception held by some that are playing, which is video games is a waste of time and not constructive or valuable to the person development or person career. But actually, sport actually presents job seeker with a genuine opportunities. Um, Maybe there's a lot of like different roles within sport, such as professional player. I mean, you shouldn't be a professional player. I mean, it's not only the one option, but also you can be a host, you can be a coach or analyst. Also, you could be a journalist or content creator, marketing executive, or even the product manager, sales, admin, organization owner, manager. That's a lot of things, or even the event manager. So esports really promising because in this very new and very sophisticated era that technology offers a good choice for a job seeker. So I think it's based on the question, is sport that promising? Instead saying advantages for a youngster, I could say that's a very promising for us, especially for a youngster and general. The millennial generation or the generation, right? Yeah, that's all for me.
Okay, it's brilliant opinion from Mr. Kyle. Next, Mr. Angga. Time is yours.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Kudori. For my point of view personally, I do agree that it is promising or advantageous for youngster, especially for the sake of the entertainment. Yeah, I do agree it is promising. However, personally, I don't want most of youngsters to be or working in this kind of technologies or games. I prefer them more to be doctors, teachers, and so on and so forth, because I think it is more useful in in this era. For example, in this pandemic era, we lack of doctors. We need to have a lot of teachers and scientists and so on and so forth. So yes, I think it is promising, but I believe there are more other promising and advantageous um, uh, works or occupations for youngsters in the future for the sake of the society. Yeah, thank you, Mr. Kudori.
Okay, it's awesome opinion because of in this case it's COVID era. Okay, next Miss Nurain. Miss Nurain, time is yours.
Okay, so is esports that promising or advantageous for youngster? How? I think it's not promising, but it can give advantages for youngster. For example, some youngster can use esport dreams if they want to be a good gamer, and even they can earn money from esport, and and they can get they can get so many friends from esports. So that is for advantages for a youngster. And for other reasons, if they good in IT, or if they good in playing game for esports, maybe they will focus on it, and they will, like, if they want to continue their study, for example, they can take major related to IT, and maybe they will get motivation to make esport in their future. So that is for advantages. And I think there are some disadvantages for esport for youngster. For example, they will lose a concentration for their study if they don't manage their time well for study and for playing game. And I think this is the role for parents uh, to protect their children and to control their children more, so their children can manage their time to play esport and to study. Um, so I think that's all for the advantages and for the disadvantages. Thank you.
All right, brilliant for your opinion. Mr. Khan, do you want to give opinion again?
Oh, yeah, thank you. I just very agree with Miss Nur Ain, because parents also need to guard their children. What we're talking is actually about mostly for younger people. We actually, as a older person, we will always recommend a like prioritizing education over embarking on an early career in sport, because as what I know and what I research, many amateur players like will play in their spare time while studying. Some on graduating decide to pursue sport as a career, but it's always a good idea to focus on education first. So I think even it's called promising or advantageous for younger people, but we also need to know that recommending prioritizing education over the embarrassment. So yeah, I really agree with Miss Narayan. Yeah, thank you.
Right, brilliant. Next, Mr. Sunshine. Next slide. Could esport be one of the ways to modernize learning? Could esport be one of the ways to modernize learning? Anyone wants to give this opinion or this sentence or this question? Could esport be one of the ways to modernize learning?
Me first, maybe. Mr. Her.
Mr. Sunshine.
Yes.
Okay.
I think it should be possible, but we need the mechanisms. We need to deeply measure the most effective methods to teach this first with the teachers. And what has been said by Mr. Indrawana before, 99% of those who become uh, the how to say the executive or those who sit in parliaments are old people. And it can also be said that the 90 not that really, I mean, like almost more than 50%, the proportion of the teachers teaching in Indonesia dominated by old people as well. And old people seemed to be more conservative and less accepting, less having less, or how to say, less awareness to embrace something new. They have less spirit to learn something new, especially when they have a really significant gap of years that Probably for some old people, some parents tend to not learn how to operate gadgets or some smartphones because they incline towards something simpler like the old handphones. And this is the problem when we say that esport can be one of the so many ways to approach the students upon learning, but at the same time, the challenge itself is how to introduce the method of modernized learning through esport toward those old teachers. Okay, since even the younger teacher think so many ways, think multiple times how to actually engage the students toward the learning outcomes from gaming. Because so far, I never knew that there are one school that actually that actually enforce the students to play games and try to make it as a part of the learning inside the class. So, any one of you, if you ever notice this kinds of phenomenon, please do tell me about this because I actually also into this kinds of field of education and educating. But yeah, I got no idea how to actually put or sync esport with our daily learning inside the class. I think that's something. Thank you.
Okay, it's awesome from Mr. Sunshine. Others want to give opinion from this question? Mr. Sony, maybe? Mr. Sony or Miss Siti wants to give opinion from this question? Maybe. Okay, next, Mr.
Oh,
Sunshine,
yeah. Wait.
Mr. Chikoneng.
Sorry.
Okay, okay, yeah.
Because I wait others, but unfortunately the others will not. Um, I feel uncomfortable when I always stipulate my statement. So that's why I wait the others. But no
Okay,
one will
okay.
say it.
All right. Time is yours, Mr. Chikoneng.
Yeah. The implementation of if esport to be implemented at the modern modernizing learning. So it will, yeah, I agree with Mr. Suni's statement. We need a measure that we will conduct it well, but it will be easy, I think, when we conduct it as the language method that we can learn from the esport, especially for several esport like the explanation of the skill and the what's that, the student should know where is the subject, where is the verb, and where is the conjunction, and also from the listening too, because there are several esports that utilizes English as their what's that, their quote, like what's that in, I forgot. There in Mobile Legends there is several words that is coming from the hero that we can learn from the listening what he said. And also PUBG perhaps, like hold on and white, and so we can common expression from that is sport, but for scientifical or scientifically, so it's really difficult, like how we can learn a mathematics from the esport. We should what's that, make the analyzing about how we can go to the enemy, so it will be difficult, but for the language perhaps it looks possible to do it. Yeah, it's for me.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chikoneng. Next, Mr. Sunny. Next slide. Yeah, that's the several opinion from the sources. A lot of academic research has been done already about esports and learning. It shows that it works and has plenty of potential. There is money in the gaming industry. It's important because education institutions have usually limited resources. So finding ways to funnel money and collaborating with gaming industry might be a way to get more resources from the private sector. The things we want to teach could be made into the games, which would improve the learning process. There are almost unlimited ways to make different topics into interesting games, making the learning fun and interesting. Yeah, I do agree with what Mr. Sunny said previously, that education in the education sectors, the old uh, teachers, they take the simple way to handle the students. Sometimes they want to be interactive or to be innovative for teaching them. In fact, because I know from I know directly when I got the chance to figure out how to do the accent in the field. Yeah, that's what I have got in the field. Next, Mr. Sunny, what can influence remarkably one's learning motivation? What can influence remarkably one's learning motivation? Anyone wants to give opinion? Okay, okay, Nurain, Miss Nurain.
Sorry, Ka, I want to share my opinion about the previous questions because I didn't give my opinion for the previous questions about esport can modernize learning. I want to share a point opinion about that question.
Okay, Mr. Sunny.
Yeah. Okay, so I think esport can modernize learning, especially, for example, in school, because in this era, some students really need to study with interactive ways and with fun ways, interactive ways, and creative ways. So it will gain their motivation to study in class. And for example, if the teacher want to teach English, and the teacher can use, for example, esport or game to introduce English, especially for vocabularies to the students, because most of esport use English, and even there are so many gamers that cannot that don't learn English in school, but they can speak English fluently by esport. So I think esport can modernize learning. So the teacher can use like a game for introduce English vocabularies to the students. So I think it can relate to the learning condition or to the learning situation to gain students' motivation for studying. So that is my opinion.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, for the next speaker, I give you 1 minute to give opinion because the time is almost over. So 1 minute for Mr. Indre.
Yeah, so what can influence remarkably one learning motivation? The answer is so simple. That is urgency or needs of that students. We can look how the way for finalists trying to implement what the student needs in their curricula exactly. If they want to be pilots, that leads me giving them the materials that related with pilot. If they want to become the businessman, you can give them the material that related with businessman. So ask about their passion first. Ask what kind of the thing that they want to be. It's like what Finland implemented in their countries, and I suppose that it'll be nice. But um, when that student doesn't have that motivation or that passion that they want to be, even though the good strategy, even though the good things that have given by the school, it will not be worked, especially to the student. So this is the reasons that ask about the urgency and giving the needs of the students.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Andre. For the next, Mr. AQ, I think Mr. Angga, right?
Not Mr. Eka. Mr. Eka, don't you?
I agree with Indre. Finish.
Okay, Mr. Angga, 1 minute.
Okay,
Time
regarding
is
the
yours.
previous statement, I just want to add that esport may be one of the extracurriculars on the school, because if the purpose is to improve or enhance the agilities, the passions, the communities, languages of the students, it can be a good extracurricular, I think, in the school. So students will gain a lot of motivations in order to study at their school, because they have their extracurricular, which is esport, to support them. And subsequently, regarding to this question, I believe that motivation comes from the purpose. I suppose as teachers, they need to serve the right purpose to the students, to learn. That's why when they get the purpose, they can also get the usefulness of learning. And how to get that? In my viewpoint, the best way to get the purpose is in the community. So the teachers should guide their uh, students in order to involve themselves in the communities. So in the schools, there are extracurriculars organizations. In the outside, probably one of the organization is like OTA. So let's join us. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, yeah, for now, I sum up for the esport. In a sense, depends on someone if they want to be productive. Even they use esport by doing something excessive, uh, it's like they make content useful. They use TikTok for education, for supporting them, for accelerating their skill. Yeah, okay, that's possible. But the question is for the someone who uses the esport for doing useless content. Yeah, it depends on what they are thinking about. Yeah, that's it. What I can deliver tonight, and I give back to Mr. Sunshine.
Okay. Okay, probably before moving to me, Mr. Nurain, 1 minute. You can speak up.
Right.
Miss Nurain, would you like to speak up?
Right.
You give your opinion in 1 minute before the closing.
Yeah, I want to give my opinion about what can influence remarkably one's learning motivation. I think learning motivation can come from ourselves because if we want to be a successful person in future, so we have to uh, we must have learning motivation. For example, we can search for a success people, how they get their success, and we can learn from those people. And after that, because we will not get success if we don't study, or we don't want to try some things new. So from motivation from outside, or motivation from some people that success, we can get learning motivation in ourselves. And we can get learning motivation from the environment, or from the people around us. For example, parents or family or friends, they can support us to learn or to study more. So we can get a better person in the future, and even we can get more success. And yeah, like that, I think learning motivation, we can make learning motivation in ourselves if we want to try, and we want to get better life in future. Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you so much. Okay, guys, it's really fun to spend time discussing something interesting with you guys. I'm really delighted and glad to tell you that finally we are stepping into the last part of the discussion. It is actually sharing about something that you might notice, and you might be able to fix that the next time we're going to have a discussion. So this is thing that I just take care probably. I strongly encourage you guys to put into practice uh, some unfamiliar terms or words, so that it can be also learned by others who listens to that. So probably the first vocabulary that might be new for us, comprehend. Comprehend is the same as like grasp, understand, apprehend, memahami, and it means inclined to. Okay, so it's like kecenderungan, cenderung, bertendensi, job vacancy, lapangan kerjaan. And also, someone of you said something like, "I just very agree." Okay, very is like is an emphasizing word, but it's actually connected to adjectives rather than to word verb. So we can say, "I do agree" instead, or extremely, "I really agree." It's much better and more feasible rather than using very. I just very agree. It's like it doesn't collocate really well. Okay, I think that's it from the vocabularies that we got for this time. So yeah, let's close by taking some pictures together. Come on, guys, please open the cameras so that I can take the pictures together with you all. Okay.
Sorry, I cannot open the camera.
Okay, yeah. That's okay. Okay, for
Sorry, I can too.
anyone else, please?
Because in this here the dark.
Uh, so we're going to
Our
uh
country also dark.
Tony, many time our moderator call you, why you don't respond to it?
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry because I have some meeting too.
ooh,
Like,
Okay.
ooh.
I'm so sorry.
Okay,
I'm
guys.
so sorry. I'm so sorry. But
Okay,
I'm
guys.
listening.
Okay, on the count of three, I'll take the pictures. Okay. For that, City and Nurain, come, yeah. Okay. So on the count of three. Okay, three, two, one. Okay, let's go. Wait. Okay. Now, okay, one skin On the count of 2. 1, 2. Okay, once again. 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you guys. So
Thank
before
you so
ending
much.
the discussion, let's
Sir.
say
You say tomorrow.
yesterday.
Yesterday for tomorrow.
Okay, see you guys in the next discussion.
I
See,
think I think
thank
I have only little bit information from you guys.